Hi guys, welcome to this week's blogging video. This video is all about hiring employees for your business, and I have learned so much from hiring employees, and I'm kind of like gonna walk you through that process on when I realized I should be hiring employees and what they did in the beginning to some of my biggest hiring mistakes that I've made, and then just some of like my top tips and what I recommend for you, and like when it was right for me to take the jump, because it is a major jump to know when to hire employees. So let's get into the good parts of this video right now. All right, first up, when I first started hiring employees for my blog and what they did. So let's rewind to really early in my blogging career. So I started hiring very quickly when I was like barely making any money, because I read the book 4 Hour Work Week, and he really harps on that you should be hiring out anything that is less money than what you would give your hourly rate. Okay, that was really confusing, but basically, like, let's say that I consider my hourly rate to be $20 an hour, to keep it simple. Well, if I can hire someone to do something for $10 an hour, then I like can go do something else that's actually worth the $20 an hour and then pay, you know what I mean? So, okay, I really didn't hope that they're making it less confusing, but I really got that mentality in my mind, and I realized that, okay, wait, there is a lot of stuff that I don't need to be doing on my blog. And so like I remember I would literally be making like $400 a month, like barely anything, but then I would take $200 of that and I hired out tasks for someone else to do, and that freed up time so that I could spend more time on ROI, like some return on investment, that I would make a lot more money on, whether it was taking courses or doing something that like only I could do. And so right away, this was like maybe 8 months into my blog, I started hiring those type of things out. Like I would have them link affiliate links. I would have them ask permission to use photos. I'm terrible at grammar, so they would like go and check over all of my writing. So like stuff like that, like I just didn't need to be doing. It just like I could be spending my time better. And so then as we grew and grew and grew, I kept realizing what we needed to hire out for. So Sarah was actually technically my third hire. Sarah's still with the, like, you know Sarah probably. And she's like my right-hand woman now, because she's really been with me since basically the beginning of this business. She knows everything. And this is so funny, because when she was hired, she was actually hired to help me design printables, which obviously her role has very much developed since then. But at that time, I was starting to get into emails, and I realized how powerful an email list was for my blog, and she was so good at like graphic design and making stuff like that. So I like exclusively hired her to make printables so that I could get people onto my email list, because I knew if I could get people onto my email list, I could then sell them things from the email list. And so she probably did that for like a solid 2 months, and then we realized that there were other places that she could also help with that was not more helpful but just better for the business. And then we just kept hiring and hiring and hiring based on what we needed and where we saw the blog growing and the business growing. And I think that's something that's like very specific to your own business. For me, I knew that I did not want my blog to be my main business. I wanted my blog to be the marketing that then funded the business that I really wanted to do, which is my interior design firm. And so we kind of like worked backwards from that. And I knew that eventually when I was starting that interior design firm and buying a house and getting into that I wouldn't have the time that I had before to put towards the website. And so I basically spent like 2 years winding up for that fact, knowing that my attention's not really going to be on the website, but I need the website to be running in the background. So the team needs to know how to run the website so that I can focus my time on growing the other parts of our business. And that's exactly what we did. And I'm so proud of that, because for the last year, I've literally dedicated 90% of my time towards the house and the interior design business. And the team's been able to continue to grow the website and have it thrive. And that's because we had team members and employees. I don't like saying employees for some reason. I feel like they're like, we're a team, in like specific roles that helped grow the business, the website side, and they knew what they were doing. And we kind of taken that approach for the entire team. I think one of like the biggest struggles that I've had, which actually this kind of leads us on to the next part of this video because I have like it all divided out. Okay, my biggest hiring mistakes. I have a lot of hiring mistakes, but something that I learned really quickly was going to be difficult. And this is also because I'm like a huge control freak, which like definitely adds to it. But for a lot of the things, like I had to be the one doing whatever it was, like on social media, like that's all me. Like I couldn't have someone else doing that. And I very quickly realized that there was only 24 hours in a day, and my day was way more than 24 hours. And even hiring people, like there was just things that couldn't be done. And so that was like such a hard learning lesson, because I think it frustrated the team members because they would try to help me, but like ultimately it was dependent on my schedule and what I could get done. And then I got frustrated because I was like, I'm trying, like I'm constantly working. It's not like I'm like laying around doing nothing. And so that's like, I would say in the last year, I've really had to refocus my brain and think like, what is actually important for me to be doing? For example, like we have really learned that TikTok is huge for our brand, and Instagram stories has like, that's because Instagram stories is where I spend the most amount of time, and it creates an amazing community, which is definitely so important. But as far as like financially and getting people to see our stuff, TikTok is what does it. Like the ROI is so much bigger in TikTok than Instagram, which is so interesting because I've spent all my time on Instagram and not really a lot of time on TikTok. And so we've just had to rework my brain and figure out like what is actually important for me to be doing and what are other things that can be done by someone else. And it's not a big deal at all. I would also say one of my biggest hiring mistakes is that in the beginning, and this is something that like we've just changed in the last year because it was such a shit show for so long, is that we were trying to teach every single team member everything, like everything, all parts of the business. I mean, which like I know all parts of the business because I started everything from the ground up. Sarah knows all parts of the business because she basically did everything with me from the ground up. But then we were trying to teach everyone that was coming in all parts, and it was just a disaster. And we really quickly learned that having people own their specific role in their specific section is the best way to handle it. For example, like one of our team members specifically does our planner business, and that is the only thing that she focuses on. But she's able to spend all of her time at work just thinking about the planner business instead of being over here and over here and over here and over here and over here. And that's like what it was for so long. And it was just really unproductive, and everything was feeling like half-assed because we weren't able to fully dedicate our brain power to one thing. And I think the team was getting super stressed out. I was getting super stressed out, and it just wasn't a really good environment. And now that we have people in specific roles, it is a million times better. I've also realized as like a boss that I am not that, and this is more like just me personality, like I'm not the type of person to be like, okay, I need you to do this. I've instead set up my business in a way that each person knows their role so intensely and so micro that they can come to me and tell me, okay, this is what we're doing, this is what we're getting done right now, these are the issues that we're finding, these are the good things. And so they're more like presenting what they're doing to me instead of me giving them a list of tasks, which was another thing, because then like, I don't know, just as you know, with a blog, like there are so many things to be doing that I would just get so busy that I wouldn't even have time to make them the to-do list, and then it was a waste of time because I wouldn't make them the to-do list, and then they were just like not doing anything that was like super important. And so now that they know what needs to be done. It's like game changing for our business. I've also instituted, and a lot of these are like, I don't know how helpful this is because a lot of these are like business, like specifically to our business, but these are things that I wish I knew before, so maybe they are helpful. But we have instituted in the last year or two, I got a business coach and she like changed the game for me, but we instituted weekly KPI meetings. And basically in those meetings, we have a huge Excel sheet. And in that Excel sheet, we break down every single part of the business and like every metric that we want to follow, whether it's like Instagram followers, Instagram engagement, TikTok followers, TikTok engagement, website views, website time on website, newsletter open rates, how many people subscribe to the newsletter, affiliates, like how much we made on Amazon, how much we made on rewards, so like everything. For our planner business, how many college planners we sold versus how many daily planners we sold. For our interior design side of the business, how many inquiry forms did we get this week, how much money do we earn, like everything, all parts of the business, because we were so spread out that someone on BSL Studios would have no idea what was happening on the website, and the planner, like people doing the planners would have no idea, like we just didn't know what was going on. And so now every single Monday we spend an hour and each team member is in charge of getting their metrics and adding it into the KPI chart, and then we go through it, and that way we can compare to weeks past, years past. And it's way easier for us to pick up on when there is an issue because we are looking at these metrics so much, and we can see like, okay, if last week we made $3,000 on Amazon and this week we made $50 on Amazon, like clearly something's happening and we have to figure it out. Where before it was kind of a disaster, and so we didn't know what was happening, which like was just really difficult for all parties involved. We also do one-on-ones with each team member. And they like do their one-on-one with their direct report. And so like I have people that specifically do it to me, and then there are other people that have people below them that do it to them, and that's where they come, like let's just say for me, for my direct reports, they come to me going through we have like a list of questions that they need to go, that they like fill out. So basically they'll like fill me in on like what's the biggest thing happening in that week. They'll fill me in on any issues, any urgent questions they need answered, anything they need like green lighted, and then anything coming up basically. And that way I can like, even though I'm not as involved in what they're doing anymore, I can see all the good things happening, I can see all the bad things happening, and I can be there if they need me to be there. And same with like the people that, like everyone on the team can basically have like someone that they can refer to and use that for them. So that has also been really, really big. And then this is something that was like inevitable, but in the beginning I could only afford to hire part-time employees, and so they were like contracted employees. Talk to your accountant about that. But in the beginning they were just part-time, and I have learned that having part-time employees is really, really difficult because, and this is something all businesses have to go through, because you can't afford full-time until you can afford full-time. So like I had to have part-time, but it was difficult because that's not like their main thing that they're thinking about. Like they were either college students, and so college obviously became before this job, or whatever they were. Like it was just hard because for like me, like my brain was constantly, which like no one's gonna care about your business as much as you do, but my brain was constantly thinking about it. And so like when something would come up that was more important to them and they'd have to drop the business, like it was just really hard to deal with. Now we only have full-time people, and then we also have like interns, but this allows like their thought to be like very much in their section of the business, which has been really big for the business and the team. And lastly, our hiring process now. So basically like how we hire is I'll put something out on my Instagram or the website, and then we'll also, Sarah gets it on Indeed and LinkedIn. And from there, we submit applications. Like we have, like they have to submit appropriate things that we think that they need to have. And then Sarah will actually interview them first. And then if she thinks they're a good fit, then I come in and I interview them after. This is like something really weird that we do, but we've stuck to this through and through, and we have an incredible team right now. And so I'm kind of thinking that like this is something that we will forever do. We do not hire unless, I'm gonna get SHIT for this. We do not hire unless they send a follow-up thank you note. I don't know why we have this in our head that this is so important, but I just think it's courtesy, and I think that it shows that they are taking this role really, really seriously. And again, that's something that we struggle with in the past, is that like, because it's like a fun job, it's maybe not taken like super seriously, and it is a job. It's a serious job, and we need them to take it serious. And so I feel like that's something that gives us like the tall tale sign. So every single person on the team has sent a thank you note or like a thank you email, and it is so appreciated. And then after we accept them, I have like an entire hiring process, which I actually think I'm going to add as a bonus into our blogging courses. So sorry, but it's like pretty in depth, and it just gets us set up so that the day that they start, they know what they're doing. We also have a few remote employees, a few full-time, or like a few remote employees, and then a few in-person employees, and that's just really dependent on what their roles are in the business, whether they need to be full-time in person or whether they can be remote. So yeah, that's a little bit about our hiring process, but I hope that was helpful. And I have like a million different blogging videos on here, so any other things that you want to know about our blogging business, you can find them here. But I will see you at the next video.